All right. So we are starting from our next module in volume, which is a sample. But before understanding that, I need to explain you a concept of grid, right? A grid volume. So let me explain to you what exactly is grid. And in the past, actually, I told you I guess, in the points, yeah, about SDF grid and all, but it was not that good explanation, and I wanted to explain this here in volume. So I will explain you very shortly. So first of all, understand that we have. Let me actually change my colors first. Okay, great. That okay. So we have a grid, right, in our 3D world. But this grid is divided into three main parts. So first is this X, right? So all of these lines are going in X direction, correct? And then we also have some lines going in Y direction. So let me actually draw this. So this is our plane. So this is X, this is Y, and also we have some lines going in Z direction. So if we form that structure, we will get something like this, right? So here are some cubes, which if you see from front, this is going in X, right? If I see it from top, this is going on Y, and if I watch it from orthographic view, I can see this is going in Z. So there are these three directions going, and if you notice properly, we have vertex inside, which means we have geometry at that point. So here is one vertex, here is one vertex, here is another one, here is another one. So all these things are vertex, which means a points in our 3D space. But this 3D space is technically divided into this grid. So we have this grid system, and that's why you can see we have this grids going in Y direction. Then we have grids going in X direction. So we have horizontal and this vertical lines, which represents grid, correct? And obviously we can we can enable the z-axis grid as well, but we don't need it. That's why mostly we keep it hidden. But just remember that all this stuff, all these things is basically a representation in grid. So because I draw this grid, you can see that if I add a monkey and if I scale it, so just understand that if this monkey exists in this grid, as currently we are visualizing it as a grid, in each vertex of this monkey, which means this, it represents a particular position, a very unique position in 3D space, correct? Because now this grid is basically going to calculate the position of that particular vertex in our 3D space, and it will do for all the vertices present in that monkey, correct? So this is the exact concept about grid. So grid basically lets you calculate individual position of each vertex present in that 3D space. And how do we do that? We do that with help of position node. As we already saw, we can take position node and we can calculate it. So this is my cube, right? But if you see, this cube is exactly like I created here, right? So this is exactly like I created there. For this example, I'm taking cube because it is much easy and simple to understand. So this is a cube, and what it is doing exactly is it is taking that cube value, which means a cube input, geometry input. Then we are taking a sample grid input here. So first node, let's start with our volume sample with sample grid. So what I did here is I converted that mesh into a SDF grid, which means actual grid. So my geometry node setup can actually read that information. So just like our position, let me actually show you index, and let me actually show you value. So if you remember, when I explained to you about this input nodes, we have this value which represents integer, correct? This represents integer, this represents float, this is a vector. So every time if you get confused, you always go to switch, and then switch tells you it is an integer, right? If I go to switch here, it will represent it is a float. If I do switch here, it will represent a vector. So what this nodes are basically, it represents their type, their data type. So if I do same with my grid, it represents float, but because this is a grid output, even if I have a, let me actually give you, if I add like a normal math value, even if I connect it here, it will not do anything, because it will not convert my grid into actual value. It will not calculate that. Yes, it will connect, because this is end of the day a float value, but this is a grid of float value, which means a combination of multiple float values as a grid. So that's why we are making that we are putting it into a sample grid, which means currently this cube became my grid, and that's input I am taking. In the position, I am taking the original position value of the cube. So if you remember, we have this cube, but this cube also have sub cubes like this vertex as well, right? So it is taking position of that, and then it is feeding that into my sample grid. And again, if you can drop down, you can choose the data type, either float, integer, boolean, vector, whatever. But currently, because we have this as a float, that's why I took a float. And we have interpolation method, which is nearest neighbor, trilinear, tri-quadratic. It doesn't make that much difference, but mostly people use it as a default one, okay? And then it is outputting a value, which is a float value. So that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm converting that. But because it is giving me that float value, I can actually increase or decrease the radius of each point present in the 3D space. And it is doing it on the basis of my position, this position. So sample grid, in short, if I tell you in short what it does, is basically just read a grid value at each point in my world position. So this is my each value, and it is reading that value in the 3D world, and it is giving that value, and it is letting me do operations on that position values. Okay, so that is exactly what sample grid node does. Okay, so next node we have in volume sample, which is sample grid index. And just like our index, sample grid index basically takes sample of grid and index both. Okay, so as it names is, it takes sample of grid and index both. So first we need to separate our index. We cannot just link this into x, y and z all together. It doesn't work like that. We have to first take that index and we have to separate it into x, y and z, and we also have to take our grid information. So currently we have Susan, and then we are converting it into a grid. So that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm converting it into a grid, and a grid type currently is a float. And then obviously then I'm outputting that value. But now in this operation, it is going to scale according to the index of this x, y, and z, which means the just like our cube example, it will take x, like this x value, then y value and z value, and it will calculate that position in the space, not on the vertex but in the space. So this is exactly what it is doing. It is scaling it. So that is sample grid index. Okay, so for the next nodes, actually, let me be honest, I have no idea how to use these nodes. Okay, because I never used it, because this is the first time in Blender 5.0 they added this nodes. And there are many people who use this for visualization, for scientific visualization purpose, for data visualization purpose, and that is why I never used it. But I will actually tell you the actual in-depth reason for that is because of the maths, like a bunch of maths. So advanced grid node have a bunch of integration sort of math thing, which obviously I do not understand. And if you don't know, I hate math. Like I never liked it. Same with grid curl node. It does have some sort of like mathematical thing, which outputs a value, a certain value. Same with grid divergence. Same with grid gradient, and same with grid Laplacian. I have no freaking idea how to use this. But if you search on Google, I actually found this channel, Depict Labs. He does have a really good explanation about this nodes, which lets you visualize these nodes in certain way. And again, as I said, this is first time it happened in the Blender 5.0, where you have some nodes which is like extremely mathematical base, which have crazy formulas inside that. But I found this guy's explanation much better. So if you really want to watch this video where he explained how to use this node, I will link this video in the description. But this is one of the most understandable explanation which he gave. So if you want to understand this, I will link this YouTube video in my description below, so you will understand this node. But I wanted to really apologize for not explaining this node, because again, it is not like I cannot do it. If I mess around a little bit, I will able to generate something. But to be honest, this is first time I'm using it, and I don't think even you will use it. But I don't know if any scientist watching this video who wants to visualize very extreme level data in some sort of manner, in some sort of special manner, I will say, then you will able to use this node, or else I don't think you're going to use it. But again, if you want to use it, I really recommend you go to Depict Lab. Yeah, Depict Labs, and he does have this two explanation where he explained everything, like maths and all that stuff. So he explained literally everything in that, and that is one of the best explanation for, like, in my understanding. So I recommend you watch his video. These two videos are really helpful for me. So rather than me explaining to you these two videos, I will recommend you watch this directly by yourself. It will help the creator as well, the original creator, and you will understand it much better way. So Yeah, that is it for this explanation, and that was our sample volume notes. Thanks for watching. Like and share this video and subscribe to channel so you don't miss the next part.